In this 2-minute video tutorial, you'll learn how to use the Parts and Supplies module in the CMMS. The Parts and Supplies module is used to track consumable parts that are used in work orders, including stock levels, costs, consumption levels, and purchasing histories. Let's take a look. In this example, we'll add and configure the parts data for a 50-foot conveyor belt. Start by selecting Parts and Supplies and click New. This part is a 50-foot conveyor belt. Code is automatically generated by the CMMS, but you can change this if necessary. Let's classify this part under the Belts category. We can then run a report, for example, to show what types of belts we have in stock. Fill in the relevant information as needed down the right-hand side, such as account, charge department, inventory code, universal part code. You would have noticed the QR code on the top right. This code is unique to this part. You also have the ability to type in a 12-digit barcode for this part, maybe the barcode on the item itself. Either the QR or barcode can be scanned with the mobile app for quick access to the part record. We'll also add make and model info. Finally, you'll see the last price field. By default, the CMMS ships with LIFO, which is last in, first out. This means this value will be charged to the work order regardless of how much was paid for the part in the past. It is possible to configure your system for FIFO, which is first in, first out, in the settings section of your CMMS. Next, let's add the number of 50-foot conveyor belts that I have in stock. To add the stock level, we'll need to add a location first by clicking the Add sign and selecting the facility location from the drop-down menu. Add the aisle, row and bin number if needed, and the quantity on hand. You can also specify the minimum stock levels for this location. Once minimum quantities are breached, the system will notify the relevant people and initiate the reordering process. It's possible to add as many locations as you like for this part. It's the same part, but stored in multiple sites. You'll also notice the Receipts and PO window. As this part is ordered again in the future, receipt and PO line items will populate here. In the BOM tab, you can add the list of assets that consume this part. Click Add New and select the assets from the list. When complete, it will look something like this. Next, if I click on the Personnel tab, I can choose which users are notified when the minimum stock level is breached. By default, the logistics group is automatically added to a part and supplies item. This is a critical spare, so I also want the purchasing manager to be notified when the stock level is low. So let's add Susan from the drop-down menu. When minimum stock levels are breached, she'll be notified too. Next, we'll add Supplier Information under the Businesses tab. This is the list of businesses that supply this part. Click Add New. Select the first business from the drop-down. Assign them a business type. In this case, they're a supplier for this part. Add the supplier part number from their 2017 catalog. We'll assign this first vendor as the preferred vendor. When the part moves to the purchasing planning board for recording, the part will be listed under this vendor first. When minimum quantity for the stock item is breached, we want the system to automatically send an RFQ to this vendor, so we'll check the box. As parts can live in multiple stock locations at different facilities in the CMMS, we'll check this checkbox to set the delivery address to the storage location that fell below minimum quantity. Set the reorder quantity for 12, and finally set required days for delivery, and click OK. Repeat the process as many times as you like for other suppliers, and click Save. You can add a picture of the part by selecting the Files tab and dragging and dropping the image in. Over time, the Log tab will show a list of work orders that consumed this part. And that's it. Now that the basic part supplies information is added, technicians can start consuming this part in work orders.